Hey everybody, this is Athletes and Antiquities, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about buy high and sell low, and how market trepidation, affects the hobby long term. So when a new set is announced, people rally around that item and enjoy it, as they should. When something gets announced, everyone says, oh my God, like this looks crazy. I can't wait to buy these. This product looks awesome. But then as soon as it's actually printed to demand, people start to cry that it's too common. It's too abundant. It's worthless. And they drop that item. And then like clockwork, as soon as Pokemon turns off the faucet, products start to tick back up in price, which is a very weird phenomenon because, when it's released, everyone loves that product, and as soon as everyone else has it, all of a sudden they're like, oh, I have mine, but I don't like that everyone has one too. Like, it's not special. Why would I want that? And it's just, and then once it stops, people are like, oh wait, no, actually that product was pretty cool, and I actually liked that. So now that it's actually raised in price 20%, now I'll pick up some more, which just, it makes absolutely no sense. And because like that, there's this wave of FOMO. This wave of FOMO hits that, oh, like, wait, I can't get that anymore? Oh, I actually want that. Sorry, I actually want 5 of those. And everyone buys them out. And there's this massive jump at first because it creeps up a little, then everybody freaks out, FOMO's in, which causes it to go up way more. And it's like this self-fulfilling prophecy of, oh my gosh, it's going up, I have to buy more. And they weren't thinking that when it was on the shelf and everybody had the option to buy one, which is just, it's just illogical. So, this it propels it up drastically, and then years down the line, it either keeps on going or it crashes because of that. And, people look back and say, obviously that item went up in value. Look at everything that's going for it. Of course it went up in value. But when that product was on shelves at MSRP, those people were not buying it. In fact, people were steering clear of it. So I've been in this hobby for about 15 years now, and I've seen this time and time again. First with black and white. So black and white was a very loved generation. It took these massive leaps forward with full arts and EXs, and just the art in general took these massive leaps forward. People loved black and white, and its grand finale was Legendary Treasures, which is often considered one of the greatest sets of all time. And when this set was out, it finished up, and then X and Y came in, and people were a little disappointed with X and Y, because black and white offered these beautiful EXs, which is an insane step forward from what they had in Heart Gold Soul Silver and Call of Legends. These came out, I think the first ones were actually this Mewtwo and Next Destinies, and people loved them. They were powerful. These two in particular were used in almost every deck, but they were also great looking. There was the full art variations that people loved, and then we went from this, and then Pokemon said, oh, that worked. Let's just do that again in the XY era. If you didn't know any better, these two cards could be from the same exact set. XY didn't really do much. Didn't really push the envelope much, at least in the beginning, and because of that, there was trepidation with X and Y. So early XY sets actually didn't sell that well. People were still off their high of black and white, and the hobby was very small at the time, but those people that were there really liked black and white, and they said, like, what is XY offering me? And it didn't do well. But then once that tap was turned off, those products started going up crazy. Someone said, oh wait, XY, I love XY. I want to buy more XY. I need to invest in XY. But those people were not saying that when that product was on the shelf, which just doesn't make sense. And then so, after those XY sets were met with trepidation, XY rolled over into Sun and Moon. Like I said, those products saw immediate jumps. And, but then when we got to Sun and Moon, people were like, Sun and Moon's pretty cool. We like Sun and Moon. GXs are new, they're different in some way. They look very noticeably different, but they weren't going too crazy. But then, the tag teams came out. And when tag teams got on the shelves, people loved them. People adored tag teams. But even though people loved them, there was very little financial talk around them because there were so many. They were everywhere. They were in promos. Even if they weren't promos, they were the chases and sets weren't that hard to obtain. You can get them for $10, $20. And people liked them, but then Sun and Moon ended. People, they went up a little bit in price, but then once Sword and Shield got into alt arts, people said, wait a minute, I love alt arts, so I gotta collect the old alt arts, the Sun and Moon alt arts, and those went up crazy in value. But they weren't doing that before. People, things like the Latios and the Latios GX, the Darkrai and Umbreon, the Wailord and Magikarp, they were beautiful cards. They weren't doing much. But as soon as alt arts from Sword and Shield got popular, those Sun and Moon started going crazy. They weren't going crazy when they were on shelves, but all of a sudden, people kind of just FOMO'd into them, which created this like spiral that we're still seeing today. And I was on the burning end of that. I sold some on the lower end when they started to move, and they went up much further. It would have been, on hindsight, it would have been smarter to hold them, but I didn't know that was going to happen. And hindsight's always 20/20. But so those were just a few examples, and that's kind of just a little from the past like 5 years of history. And while history doesn't always repeat itself, it often rhymes, which is what a lot of economists and historians say. So why am I saying this? How do I think current markets will rhyme with what we saw in years past? So before I kill the suspense, I do want to say that in general, I lean on the bearish side of speculating in this hobby. I think people are far too comfortable with the idea that somebody will pay thousands of dollars more for their shiny cardboard in 10 years than they did today. But however, I do think there is some irrational doubt around current products, purely because there's a lot currently on shelves. And people forget that it's supposed to be that way. There's supposed to be a lot on shelves. That's a good thing. If there isn't product on shelves, that's a bad sign for the hobby, unless people will enjoy that item. Obviously, things should be printed in moderation so we don't have another junk wax era. But just because something is available on release doesn't mean that people won't want it later. And now I'll finally kill the suspense. And I normally don't like to talk about specific products, but this product's been out for a while, and we've seen a lot of price fluctuations with it. And I think you probably figured out what I was going to talk about was this product in the back. I'll try and tilt this up a little bit. So this is, the biggest example of what I'm talking about today that I can see is the Charizard UPC. And before I say anything, yes, I do own a few of these sealed. I'm not here to pump and dump my product. I don't plan on selling it anytime soon. I honestly think that it's one of the strongest products to come out in the last few years, and the perception of this is so bizarre to me for how good this product is. And so yes, you might think I'm just trying to shill my own product, and if you want to think that, fine, but if this goes up in value, it goes down in value. I've only bought a few of them. It's not like I'm sitting on cases, but I just think they're so good for what they are that people having this disdain for them is just insane to me. I think people are, sorry, before I get into that. So it's been out for a year now, or almost a year now, I think. And I've given it some time to marinate before I took a deep dive on it. And chances are, if you want one, you already have one. They've been out for a while, and they've been down in value for a very long time. So before it was released, I just want to remind you guys, people lost their minds about this product. Everybody was pre-ordering it. Everyone was getting their max allocations, and the whole hobby was convinced that there was a technical error with every single order going through. Like, people were talking about this as if it was like the next great thing. It was the next big thing, and how can you blame them? It has 3 amazing Charizard artworks in it, very unique alternate arts with very different styles, so there's something for everybody in there. There's also this great variety of product. There's I think it's like 16 packs, and there's all from like 5 or 6 different sets. Let's flip this around, because I think it says, bump the camera 1,000 times. So there's, what is there? Yeah, it's like 16 packs. You got 3 Evo, 3 Fusion Strike, some Darkness Ablaze, some Vivid Voltage, some Brilliant Stars. This is a phenomenal product. But because it was available at first, all the negative Nancy's were like, oh, like this product sucks. You know, it's way too easy. It's gonna be printed into the ground. And it dropped from $120 to $90 at some points. Like during Black Friday, it was like down to $90. But now people's perceptions are slowly changing, and it's looking like, I mean, if you're interested in it, it's looking like it could be a good buy to some people at 120. But it was seen as repulsive at 90 just a few months ago. This is off center, sorry, it's bothering me. It was seen as a repulsive buy like a few months prior. And now that it's started to take up back to MSRP, all of a sudden everyone's like, wait, hold on, check this out. You know, check this product out. This product is pretty good, which is it makes no sense. So I'm not here to say if it will go up in value. I'm not here to say it won't. I don't really know. I personally find speculating extremely risky. I don't think it's something that you should do in mass. You know, if you have some play money and you just want to watch a market or something, or watch a product you like, that's fine. But it's a very risky thing to do. But I do think people will want to open something like this for years down the line, due to its products, its promos, its packs, and that fact alone says something about possible longevity. When you're looking at longevity, if for a product to really go up in value, it has to either be extremely scarce or it has to be fun to open. And normally I would say it just has to be fun to open, but there are exceptions, like those demo packs. You can open them and there's absolutely nothing in them, but they sell for thousands because they're so rare. But with most products, the contents are crucial, and if it's not an interesting set, it won't do well. And just this product is so much fun to open. It's so much more fun to open than any given box because of the variety that you can get out of it. And because of that, you know, I think people will like it down the line. So this negativity I just find pretty bewildering. And I just want to like ask you guys, what other products do you see that are like that, where if you looked at it from an objective lens, it looks like a home run, but because it was on shelves for a while, people are like, oh, like this sucks. Like why would I want that? And then it'll take them until they see some sort of price activity for them to all of a sudden flip a switch and all of a sudden be all for it. Because I think there's a lot of stuff out there right now, and I'm not saying everything's going to go up in value, but it's just an interesting thing to talk about in like the psychology of sellers and buyers. They don't like it when it's cheap. They like it when it's expensive, which goes down back to the idea that as smart as speculators in this hobby think they are, a lot of them are doing, you know, the cardinal sin of any sort of financial, whether it's investing or speculating, which is buy high, sell low. And I think a lot of people did that with the Charizard UPC, but you know, what else do you see like that? I'd love to know. So let me know what you think. And yeah, that's all for today. Bye.